All right, y'all. I'm really happy to be doing this one. This includes two of my favorite, people to watch on YouTube. Of course, Willie D. Y'all might know him if you don't know him from Ghetto Boys. He's been a cultural figure for 30 years, 40 years now, and he's doing an interview with Marquett Burton. His station or his channel is The Saint and the Sinner. I'm a subscriber. I think the dude is level-headed, very intelligent, brings a lot of game to the table, especially about the condition of blacks in America and the conditions of conditions of Western dating today. So to see these two come together is kind of like seeing two powerhouses go at it and just interact and discuss key topics in our community that have to do with economics and dating and women and so many things. So I'm gonna let it get started and chime in here and there, but I'm gonna let them do more speaking.
Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Marquett, Devon, Burton. What's up, Ken?
You added the sound effects in on that one?
Yeah, you just one of them type of dudes, man, that you got to have the megaphone, when you say your name.
I appreciate that.
Because you make a lot of noise.
It's about that time. I think that, we're in an important place where we got to be serious. Like, you see all of a sudden the white supremacists are going a little bit harder. We see that the birth rate of the black female is 1.94, which is not enough for replacement, so our population is declining. So we see Trump talking about a 50-year mortgage rate, which is like, what, you got to get a mortgage when you're 8 years old to own a house? So the world is in a very sensitive place, and I think that if good men don't stand up right now and do something, it's going to be bad.
Bad.
You brought him up, man. I didn't want to bring the dude up this early because I know it's all about you, man. But that damn Trump, bro.
Yeah.
SNAP, I know you had some choice words, about that SNAP program and, how you felt that it contributed to much of the angst within the black community.
Yes.
Can you expound on that?
This is a touchy one because, I come from where the soul of black people are currently, which is in urban areas. I grew up on food stamps, not where they give you the card where you got dignity and people think you swiping a bank card.
Right.
I grew up where they give you them colorful ones. You hear me? Like everybody looking like, oh, he's on food stamps.
1, 5, 10, and 20.
Yeah. And my mom, as soon as you get up there to pay for the food, she's like, I forgot.
It looked like Monopoly money. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they tried to kind of give it some more dignity by giving you the SNAP card, and you can kind of, swipe it, and, everybody don't be pointing and saying, oh, he on government assistance or help.
Got one thing, get in line, pay for that. Like you got to pull them out, you embarrassed. And so I definitely know what it is to be poor. I grew up on Section 8 housing. I grew up in LA in a place you didn't want to be. And what I came to understand, which is different from my experience, is that, maybe this is not good for the black people in America, especially when they have those requirements that says that the man can't be in the household, and then the woman says, well, the money or the man? I'll take the money. I guess Benjamin Franklin's a little bit more reliable than, fill in the blank, right? And what I figured out as an adult is that these are the things that have destructed our communities. And community or tribe is very important. You can always rely on that. The government's going to change. Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. Hey, the economy's booming or the economy's busting. All those things are going to change. But if you actually have tribe, people who care about you, you have strong families, that you can always rely on and take to the bank. And SNAP has destroyed black families. So some people say, oh, you don't understand, you're well off. I'm like, look, man, I really came from the mud. Like, I was poorer than the other poor kids because my mom was on dope when I was a young boy. My father was in prison doing 10 for selling dope. So I really come from the mud. And one of the things I have to admit is that well, damn, if you can still afford to use drugs while you're on SNAP, maybe if they took away the SNAP, you'd use that hustle you used to purchase those drugs to cover the basics, just maybe. And if not, if you're actually in a tribe, we'll be forced to take care of each other. There'll be necessity. They say necessity is the mother of invention. What we need to invent is the black family because it's currently dead. So, of course, my heart goes out to people who are struggling, but I think mostly they're not struggling as much as they think they're struggling. This is really where they're struggling. This is where the real poverty is in the mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause right there and really just say this is why I watch Marquett. Myself, a little bit by myself. I spent 8 years in the military, a year and a half in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Even 20 years later, that discipline that I learned, I'm not saying that it's perfect, but that discipline that I learned carries so many things into my life. My finances, my fitness, interacting with people and things like that. And so what he's speaking about right here is being trapped up here. We don't have a lot of discipline in our community, and we've become dependent on daddy titty. We've been daddy government. We become too dependent on it, and it's destroyed our ability to be innovative, to create, to have the discipline to create our own wealth. So what he's about to speak about is, a little self accountability, but also just a little discipline. We need more discipline than what we have going on right now. The black community has deteriorated into what I kind of see as a little bit of foolishness and buffoonery. I don't think Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, if they were alive today, would be proud or happy with the direction that our music and our culture and our economics has gone in the black community. Malcolm, the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan speak extensively about economic independence from a system that would have you dependent on it. And we've fallen deeper into that dependence on the system as a whole, as a people. And I think that guys like Marquett and other that are speaking out about this for black men and women are well needed. It's good to have him talking with a brother like Willie D, someone I've always respected. Let him finish.
And so I say, get away those SNAP benefits. They're coming from a people and from a government that's never loved us. And we need to start.
Yeah, they're coming from a government that don't really give a fuck about you. They paying you the SNAP benefits to go away. We need to stop thinking that the system is being benevolent when they giving us the assistance. They giving us the money, the small little change, the small little SNAP benefit to go away, to not compete. That's the reason why they don't give them to women if she got a man she might be building with. And they penalize the naturalness of man getting with woman by saying if you have the man in the home, then we're going to take away this pacifier from you. And the women become addicted to the government assistance, the lack of accountability, and the lack of accountability to a man. So now the government is paying her to stay single. And we don't see, she doesn't see, then we don't see till it's too late how this is destructive.
Basic. So I actually celebrate. I think it's a holiday. You hear me? It's a holiday when he cut off them benefits.
What about the people who use SNAPs to subsidize their income?
Mm-hmm.
Like say for instance, you got a mother of five, a single mother of five.
A single mother of five?
That's
a hell of a trick.
That's a
hell of a trick, boy.
There's a lot of single mothers of 5 and 4s and 3s and 6s out there. A lot of them.
Yes.
But let's say you have a single mother of 5 and she's busting her ass. She's not sitting back waiting on anything. She ain't getting no help from the outside, period.
Yes.
And she needs some type of subsidizing. Okay. What about that? Is there an exception for someone that's in a position like that? Let's say she makes $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month.
Yes.
But she got 5 kids, and you know how it is, how expensive it is to raise kids these days.
Absolutely.
So what if the government gave her maybe an extra $1,200 a month, $2,000 a month?
Yes.
To help her get over the hump. You know, is that doable? Is that something acceptable in you?
I mean, before he answers whether it's acceptable or not, and I think I kind of can feel where he may answer, but my answer to that is, unless she's a widow, I'm not saying she shouldn't get any help. But what we do is we like to come in with the assistance, and we like to come in the middle of the game and be like, well, that person needs assistance now. Instead of teaching young women not to get to 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. It's going to be hard economically, right? I guess what I'm saying is we don't teach anymore the young girls. It used to be a thing where the aunties would tell the young girls, you better marry before you carry. There's an economic consequence to not having a man. There's an economic consequence to casual sex with the wrong men. You end up being a single mother because they inevitably leave or they dead or in jail. Right? Okay? And now you got 3, 4, 5 kids, especially if there's different fathers involved. None of the fathers are going to want to compete with the other fathers, so they're going to be at a distance. So now you're going to be taking care of them kids by yourself and with government assistance. Right? But this goes back to the discipline that we should have been taught, or we were the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and many in the past were trying to get black people on during the civil rights movement. We cannot catch up being irresponsible and undisciplined with casual sex. We're not going to catch up economically creating babies but not building homes. Right? So let me let Marquett answer what Willie D had to ask, but that was just my little 2 cents.
No, because
And he said no.
we have to look at the long term, and there can't be any birth without pain. So in the transition period, there will be some challenges, but we have to remember America is in fact the wealthiest country to ever exist, even with the poverty that we have. And also in terms of black people, if we're just talking about black people, we have it. In fact, we're the wealthiest black people on planet Earth. So we have it. And there's something called civil society. Civil society fills in the gap where government is not doing the work. And the truth is, government's original mandate is not to do all this extra stuff. It's to do the things that will be of common benefit. Government's job is not to reallocate capital. In fact, you observe that government's not very efficient with allocating capital. That's why the government's in tremendous debt. So what should government do? Roads, bridges, because you don't build bridges, right? And if you did build a bridge, it have to have other people on it, so you want them to contribute because they're using it in common. Conversely, if we were to pay $1,200 to this person or $1,000 to this person, we're A, misallocating capital, and B, we're allocating private funds to something that's not a public good. Government is supposed to be for the public good. And here's the most important thing. We really want to ask ourselves, if we continue to subsidize bad decisions, are we
subsidizing bad decisions?
Bad decisions. I find it funny that you can find, and this is across all of the colors, across all of the religions, you find the people who are most responsible, most well off, most intelligent and educated. One is, why don't you have any kids? Oh, we're gonna plan it out. We're gonna make sure the time is right. We're gonna make sure our finances are right. They're making all these plans. And then it's the people who don't have their life together, the people who are uneducated, the people who are unprepared, the people who have poor emotional intelligence. You don't have to ask them why they didn't have kids. They got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when you are making these investments, you're incentivizing bad decisions and you're making poor investments. You're actually investing capital into what is probably going to return the least. So I say all that to say this. I love that a woman might have 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids. I say carry on. We need to repopulate, especially the blacks in America, because our population is in decline. They say we're 13%. I'd say it's probably like 10%, our ethnic group, which is to say the foundation of black American. Black people, yeah, with immigration from Nigeria and Haiti and other places, black people might be at 13%, but our ethnic group, our tribe, is probably at 10% or less, especially the fact that more black children are aborted than born. So I would say, yeah, do have kids, but Select a man who is honest, responsible, and reliable.
All right.
And have children with.
So that's where you get into trouble, Marquett. You know, now you telling the chicks who to pick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now you mansplaining, which I agree with you. You know, they pick, they coochie get wet for the nigga who doesn't show any discipline, doesn't show any consistency, doesn't show any idea that he's gonna be there long term, but he fun, he popping. All the other chicks want him. And that's how you end up by yourself with the kid. Once again, I said before, back in the day, a woman's family, young people period, but especially the girls in the family, you had to, if you wanted to date a girl, you had to meet her brothers, her uncles, her aunts. They vetted people. You couldn't just go get no pussy. You know what I'm saying? You was going to get vetted by the family before you just went off and dated. And because we don't have that structure anymore, because we don't have that tribal, you know, looking out for each other anymore. We kind of laissez-faire with how we living. We just let people pick their own mates without vetting any other thing about character or none of that. And then they end up with several kids, several different baby daddies, several this and that, and needing help and wanting sympathy and wanting the government to give them a handout for their mistakes. And this is how we get into the shit that we are in as black people by, you know, making poor decisions, you know what I'm saying, and then having those decisions, you know, encouraged or incentivized. I'm not anti-black. I'm pro-black like a motherfucker. I'm tired of my people losing economically, losing at the smart financial games, and not realizing that these aids that the government throw at you is just little nickels to get out the way. You know, little bones here and there that keep you eating and shitting and working, but nothing that has us economically rising and competing for power with the other races in this nation. We are at the bottom. Whenever I go through most black communities I go through, and it pisses me off to see, you see very little owned by the blacks that live there. It'd be Arab folks that own the store, and then it'd be Korean folks that own the nail shop and the beauty shops, and it'd be the, you know what I'm saying, Arab, Koreans, and shit, what's the other one? Jewish, that own the shit. They smart enough to come into our neighborhoods, even though it's dangerous, buy up businesses and real estate, and we just continue to be consumers. And like he said, while our numbers are dwindling, our economic power is dwindling. So yeah, like he said, this is a red light moment. This is an urgent moment to wake up, get smart. Let's play the power game or the powernomics game better. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. Let me let him continue.
Him and obey him, and he will honor you, and he will honor those children. And we'll see women make rational decisions. And women are rational. Oh, you better believe it. Because they know how to fill out that application and get that EBT and that Section 8 and all those safety nets that they know are there. But when they know those safety nets are not there, they will make the rational decision to deal with men who are honest, honorable, loyal, and responsible. And then we will have some wholeness again. And the truth is, the government is not our father. The government is not our friend. In fact, the government is largely the reason that black people were disenfranchised for a long time. They still owe you 40 acres and a mule. You've not got either. So you think that this EBT is your form of petty reparations. No, it's your form of prison. And what's more is they're not giving this to the poor people to help the poor people. You know who's benefiting off of that? It's your local grocery store that gets to rely on the fact that they know the government is giving you spending power to come give to them. And those are the things that I find to be disturbing. And though I might have
good economics. I'm gonna have to pause right here.
Everything that I
What's
say,
that about? Okay, I'm gonna give it 10 minutes.
So I just got 62 acres in Georgia, and I've invited folks to come on, take 2 acres. We're teaching folks how to have some chickens, have some cows.
Is that the Burton plantation?
Burton plantation, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing,
Yeah.
Marquett. Here's the thing, man. Yeah, everything that you just said while it does make sense, it absolutely makes sense.